within a black background, which was exactly the same as the poster. And by doing this, I think it just having white on top of black makes it stand out massively, and I think it looks much more effective than using a bunch of random colours. Just keeping it simple is much more effective than making it too complicated and complex. However, what we've added this time is, just looking at it now, around the right and the left side we have bits of gold with text over them in some places. We've got a circle of gold, and then loads of borders of gold. And by doing this, I think it definitely made it look more authentically, definitely made it look more pleasing to the eye. I think the gold works well with the design and the theme of the trailer, and theme of the poster, and it makes them look more sophisticated. I think just going white and black again for the entire magazine poster didn't really work, and we needed a colour that suited our theme but also didn't mess up the design of the poster. So like, for example, using the colour green or red wouldn't have worked in our magazine. So by going for gold, I think gold's a good colour to use, as I said before, sophisticated, and also George wearing a suit implies that he's wealthy, because gold is a stereotypical wealthy colour. So something that we did, which was conventional, was having each of the having the details of the magazine on both the right and the left side, including normal things you'd see in a trailer, and magazine, which we obviously looked at lots of different magazines to make sure ours fit the thriller genre and also looked like a perfect magazine. So for example, we include things like the interview, getting to know Granger, which is obviously the main character of our film, and then in a big circle we have the 10 biggest blockbusters you need to see. And then we have things from other films, such as Speaking, Hugh Jackman on Prisoners, Liam Neeson on Taken, which, however, it sounds random, but both of these films we took inspiration from, and they link to the same type of theme ours is about, which is kidnapping. Prisoners is about kidnapping, and so is Taken. So yeah. Having those, it just makes it more conventional to the thriller genre and just normal magazine posters. I definitely think our magazine looks extremely professional, extremely conventional, and it has the combination between our magazine and our main product is massive, and I think they link together. The synergy between them is very good. I think the magazine definitely advertises our main product well. By looking at this poster, you'd think that it was very professional, the way we've designed it. In combination with our poster, looking at both of them, you'd be impressed. Hopefully the customers and other people that's looked at our poster and then maybe saw our magazine in the shop would think that our film would be worth going to watch, which is obviously what we try to achieve by creating both the poster and the magazine. The purpose of those two designs is to intrigue the audience into watching the trailer and then the film and so on. So now I'll go on to talk about both the poster and the magazine together. I think first of all the most important thing is the image for both of them. I think both of the images give off the fact that it is a thriller genre. Both of the images are very mysterious, very professional, formal. You can look at them and by looking at both the poster and the magazine, you can tell that it's a very dark, well, not dark film, but very very dark film that contains a lot of tense moments, heart-pumping moments that you'd expect to see in a thriller genre film. The most important part is the lighting that we used for both of the poster and the magazine, as I'll show on the screen now. You can see in both of the pictures, one side of his face is hidden more in the poster. You can only see half of his face, and the other you can see that there's a bit of shadow on the left side, which would make the audience think maybe he's two-faced, maybe he's done something wrong, even though he's perceived as the good person. By looking at the trailer or the poster in the magazine, it can make the customers think, is he a good or a bad person? Because by looking at the poster, he's very serious. There's a lot of black and shadows, a lot of black shadows surrounding his face. You could make the prediction that he isn't a good person, which is kind of what we tried to get across to the audience, because we didn't want them to just assume the type of person he was. We wanted them to be confused, because by watching the trailer, you'll understand that at the end, he is accused of also stealing his little brother, or kidnapping his little brother, even though he is looking for the brother and trying to give off the impression that he is innocent, and he might not be. I think by having the light and dark side, the dark side, as it goes from really light on one side of the face and slowly fades and then into complete darkness, which emphasises the mystery in our trailer, which is the most important part, because when watching the trailer, no one actually knows who is the eventual suspect or the eventual person that has taken the child in the trailer, so no one ever knows. So by making one side of George's face completely dark and one side light, it shows he has two different sides. Maybe he's a good person, maybe he's not. Both the poster and the magazine work well together because they both have a similar theme, and the synergy works well because of the use of colours, background, the way the image is positioned, and obviously, as I've spoken about before, the lighting. So yeah, they both have similarities that you can link between them to show that they are the same. You can tell they're linked together through the imagery and the texts, the way the text has been designed. The photos aren't completely identical whatsoever. I think the magazine is much more magazine-like, and it's the type of image you'd expect to see of a celebrity or a model on a magazine cover. I think we've made both of them separate in the way they are presented. The magazine image is very specific to magazine posters, and the poster image is more to intrigue the audience in. I think the magazine and the poster are good at preparing the audience to what to expect during the trailer. Both of them give off loneliness, isolation, mysterious, all these kind of moods and effects, and the type of things the audience can expect when looking at the trailer, poster and magazine. By looking at the poster, by looking at the title, Missing, and the photo of George, they can make their assumptions and use their minds to kind of create what they expect the story to be. And I think the poster and magazine definitely prepare them for that. And while watching the poster, if they see the trailer after watching the poster and after looking at the poster in the magazine, they can look at the links that we've tried to represent, like therefore the two different sides of George. At the end of the trailer, you see an interviewer say to George, "Where were you that night that it happened?" So after an audience member has heard that, they may think back to when they looked at our magazine and looked at our poster and looked at the kind of way we've represented George and say, "Oh right, that's why they did that then." I think by looking at the magazine and the poster, by looking at the character, you can tell a lot of his personality. You can guess what type of person he is by just looking at how serious he's presented. You can maybe tell the kind of emotions he might feel during the film. You can tell it's obviously not going to be a happy, light mood during the film because of the way that it's presented in the dark background, serious face. You can definitely prepare yourself for a dark film. But I definitely think that the combination between the ancillary and the main product are very effective, and there's a good use of synergy that I hope that I have put across between the two, which represent the different dimensions of thriller. You can tell by looking at the images and aspects of the trailer that they are linked. Hopefully the magazine and the poster prepare the audience members for the kind of things they should expect when watching our trailer.